On this episode of the Dudes and Dads podcast, we talk with our friend Mark Graff, the most interesting man in the world.
Joel,
Andrew, hello.
I'm looking forward to this episode.
It's highly hyped, highly anticipated. We can only go down from here. But
Speaking of, did you see my graphic for the YouTube?
I did.
On this,
I did.
So essentially, you told me locomotive, oil rig.
Yes.
And so I said, give me a picture of a locomotive and an oil rig. And I somehow think that the oil rig ended up on the locomotive.
Yeah, which is, I don't think physically possible, but we'll find out if there are oil rigs on locomotives later in the episode. I'm sure we'll find out. Hey everybody, welcome to the Dudes and Dads podcast. Glad to have each and every single one of you along for the ride. Looking forward to the conversation this evening. Andy, what's going on in your world right now? What's happening?
Oh man,
Fill me in.
this weekend was just nuts, crazy. Just lots of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Tennis matches. Oh, so this is the greatest thing. So my son goes to all my kids go to Fairfield.
Yes.
And he's on the tennis team.
Yes.
And they do what they call the Fairfield Invitational.
Okay.
Which is Fairfield playing Fairfield playing Fairfield. They split up into 3 different teams.
This sounds fun.
And they do an invitational. And then they figure out which team won. And it's fun. Because then, like this weekend, they mix up all of the partners and everything too. So you play with somebody else. My son actually got to play with one of the coaches. And he did a great job. But
That's fantastic.
it was fun to
That's
watch.
awesome. That's awesome. You know, we did some JV football on Saturday. That was good. We're getting prepped for my kid over in Goshen schools. I got a dual school situation, as we talked about last time. Getting ready for marching band season to be in full swing. And I'm having that experience, gentlemen, where you volunteered for something because you believe in it. And you want to support the children of our community, and you get to spend time with your kid doing these things, and it's all great. But I will say, it's a landslide. It's a volunteer landslide, is what it is. Of when you're starting the season off the beginning, there's just so much to do, and not enough time to do it. And I do often think, if really I've bitten off more than I can chew. But we're about ready this next weekend to launch in our first marching band invitational. Will be over at the University of Toledo. The Rockets? Yes. University of Toledo Rockets.
Okay.
And I'm sure there's a story there why they're the Rockets. Can't tell you why. But be marching on in their stadium. It's pretty cool. But we have to leave. See, this just goes to show you. Guys, I'm getting old. Early mornings for me are like Saturdays are meant for a little bit of sleeping in, a little bit of relaxing.
Right.
But we will be hitting the road promptly at 4 a.m. this coming Saturday morning for the University of Toledo. Again, I've asked the question, what have I done? Why have I made these choices? But here we are. So yeah, that's the kickoff of that. We've got fall ball. Both of us get the fall softball things with our youngest kiddos.
Yeah.
And they're enjoying that, I think.
I think so.
Why not? And let me see. We got fall baseball with my son as well. So he was at Trine University this morning. Good pitching outing. And then I feel like there's other stuff. But it's strangely a lot going on. And I'm enjoying it. But most importantly, we're here together, Andy.
We are.
And we're here to talk about, as always, we'd like to acknowledge the many people that support us, that cheer us on, that shout from all corners of multiple counties, keep it up, dudes and dads, keep it up. But apart from those people, we also have official sponsors.
We do. So support for this podcast comes from Everence Financial, helping individuals and organizations combine faith and finances through retirement planning, banking, and other financial services. More at everence.com/Michiana. Everence offers financial products subject to regulatory regulations. Visit everence.com for more details.
Thank you, Everence.
Thank you, Everence. And also Avad Chiropractic.
Oh, Avad.
Thank you, Avad Chiropractic, for keeping us in line both physically and on the show.
Oh, so good. Physical alignment, emotional alignment, spiritual alignment, and operational alignment. Avad Chiropractic and Wellness. We thank you to them for their support as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Andrew, our guest, Mark, he's on the show, and I want to tell you how Mark got on the show. Mark and I were sitting in a slight, we'll call it downpour, a consistent rain, JV football. And Jackie, my wife, said, you know who you should have on the show is Mark. He was in the next pop-up easy up tent next to us as we were huddled under there under the rain. And I said, really?
Tell me more.
And she said, he's known around our workplace as the most interesting man in the world. And I said, this sounds exactly like the kind of guest we need to have on. And so I looked across the way and I said, Mark, how do you feel about podcasts? And he said, I'm down. I'm interested. He like no question. By the way,
he didn't say what's a podcast.
No, he didn't ask. But he didn't ask anything. Any sort of deeper questions. Apparently, there's a level of trust, hopefully that he already has with my wife, to not completely set him up for something weird and strange. So here he is with us. Mark, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This is really, because here's the deal. My wife has given me a little bit of an overview, and I'm interested in these various tidbits of your life. But I think let's put it this way. I think there's a golden thread here. I think there's probably some things that are going to tie all this together. But in the meantime, I want to hear about your family, but I want to hear about some of these more interesting jobs, because I think that some of the jobs that you've had are not ones that are, shall we say, are not like the details of those jobs, or sort of the behind the scenes pieces of the jobs are not widely known. People kind of hear about them in general, and then they are like, oh, that might be interesting, but they don't know the ins and outs. And I will say, again, my wife, in general, gave just some details. And so I want to follow up on all this. So before all that, we'd like to start off our guests with asking about the dad stats.
So the dad stats are just wife, kids, family, hobbies, those things.
Where are you from? Yeah, like all the stuff.
Which side of the tracks are you on?
Yeah, which side of the tracks are you from?
Okay.
And and go.
Yeah. Born and raised in Syracuse.
Oh, all right.
Moved from Syracuse to Warsaw in 2009. 2010 moved to Fort Wayne. 2012 moved to North Dakota.
As one does.
2020, easy transition.
Yes.
2024 moved back to Indiana here in Goshen.
Okay.
I have 5 kids.
Yes, you do.
3 biological.
Yes.
2 adopted.
Yes.
From North Dakota. And
you're married.
am married to an amazing human being named Abby.
Mm-hmm.
She works with me at VRail.
Oh, right. Okay.
So if she can tolerate me, she's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
And
you've been married how long? Uh-oh. See,
no,
Andy,
you get
I get in trouble.
everybody.
I get in trouble for this.
Right.
16 years.
It is 2025.
No, 17 years.
17 years. Okay.
2008. We were married 06, 07, 08.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's easy to remember.
Thank
then.
you. Thank
There we
you.
go.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. So, okay. So obviously like a fair amount of like moving around. What did young Mark think that he was going to do vocationally? As you were growing up, like what was like, okay, I want to grow up to be XYZ.
Absolutely no plan whatsoever.
Nice.
None at all. It was a reed in the wind.
Okay.
When it came to that.
Do you feel like is that like your would you say that's the kind of person you are? Kind of this like go where the wind blows me sort of person, or
it has been for the better part of my life. I think with age, it's not quite so severe.
Okay.
I'm not moving to another state anytime soon. So
do you? Andy and I have talked about this some recently, like in this age. So, Mark, if you don't mind asking, how old are you now?
I am 39.
Okay, right. Okay, so you're
39.
right around. So I'm 41. Andy's a little bit older than that.
I'm a little bit older.
Just a little bit older than that.
A little bit.
And we have talked about realizing this, like, as we get older, our tolerance for risk and change, like feeling like that does shift, right?
Yeah.
And when you look back at the 20-year-old Mark, like what you were willing to do, places you're willing to go, whatever, and shift, the reality is now, obviously, as you have a wife, you have kids, like all those sort of things. Is do you feel like okay with your is there like a little bit of still like wanderlust left in you somewhere, or do you feel like, hey, where I've landed right now in life is like it feels good?
I feel good. I feel happy where I'm at in life right now. I did just buy a powered parachute.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
So the risk is still
so
there.
the risk is still there.
Sweet.
Risk is still there.
Sweet.
I don't want to fall into monotony.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Got it. Okay. So talk to me about, you've had some interesting jobs.
Yes.
And those interesting jobs, were all those interesting jobs in the North, with like, you had one in North Dakota. You're just take me through the interesting job catalog, kind of the timeline.
So Joel said, "Hey, we have a guest," and I
Yeah.
said, "Oh yeah, tell me about it." And he said, "Well, he's got interesting jobs," and so I'm really interested to
Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
what you have to say.
So, there's a list.
Yes.
We can
Perfect.
spitfire and
Perfect.
then come.
Okay.
Fiberglass repairman, forklift driver, RV electrician, railroad conductor, third shift forklift driver at a grocery store, bike technician,
Mm.
oil field.
Mm-hmm.
I was what's called a production testing hand,
Okay.
field assistant, business founder and owner, worship pastor,
Yes.
salesman, and now project manager
Yes.
for an R&D department.
Yeah. Okay.
So a wide range of things.
Yeah, a wide range of
wide
things.
range.
Yes.
Wide range of things. When you moved out to North Dakota,
Mhm.
so what part of North Dakota were you living in?
Minot.
Minot.
Why not Minot?
Why not? Minot.
That's the catchphrase. So,
Is the local chamber using that as
Oh,
their
yeah.
slogan? Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
They should be if they're
Yeah.
not.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what did you, because you were here in Indiana and you moved out there,
Mhm.
and what in the world makes one move from this lovely sanctuary we have here to the wild plains of North Dakota?
2008
Okay.
and 9. That's what made.
Yeah.
That was the big deciding factor.
Because what were you doing here at that time?
At the time, I was going to school at IPFW, working by necessity at anything that I could get.
Mhm.
So, in a 2-year, I was furloughed from the railroad in 2009, the beginning of 2009, and there was no work.
Gotcha.
Hence the move to Fort Wayne, started school.
Okay.
Anything to get moving forward. Yeah, the only place that was hiring at the time, I think, was Meyer. So I worked third shift at Meyer as a forklift driver, and first shift at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yes.
As a bike technician, and then
Got
school
it.
full time
Okay.
and kid.
For those of you that have not worked third shift at a grocery store, it can be strangely wild.
I've not done it at the grocery store, but I did it at a machine shop.
Okay. All
which
right.
is also mind numbing.
Yes.
For a third shift.
And for
job.
those of us that have worked third shift, you are working a time when the rest of the world is not, most of the rest of the world is not conscious, right? And you get into this weird zombie rhythm of like your day is ending when everyone is waking up, and you're like wandering out of your place of your employment.
Yeah.
And you're like, I gotta go find a dark place to I gotta put rubber over the windows to block out and find a few hours of sleep. It's not, I would say it's not, it's against creation.
Right.
I think it's
just
it's no fun.
Yeah.
No.
It's against the way you're and I'm assuming for you at Meyer. So I worked third shift. I had a third shift Walmart job in the freezer section, because nothing says fun, Andy, like stacking cheese at 2 a.m. in the morning.
In
Am I right?
cold.
In the cold. Am I
I
right?
agree with that.
Yeah. So yeah, those are. I just remember those times, like you're doing whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
You're doing whatever you have to do, but it's hard to stay positive.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to stay positive.
Yeah.
Because I was in school, I was doing that. Okay, but and I want to step back because I got to get the timeline right. You were working for the railroad.
Yep. So I'm working for the railroad.
At a pretty young age.
Yeah. And it was kind of a joke. We were working at Keystone and I was completely happy with that. My brother was very interested in the railroad.
Okay.
Norfolk Southern was having open interviews. My brother really wanted to go and go through the interview process, didn't want to go alone. So he said, hey, you should roll with me up here. I'm like, I really don't want to spend a day in a bunch of conference rooms.
Yeah.
So I went with him, and as pure boredom, fluke, did all the paperwork and took all the tests.
Okay.
They hired both of us. They hired out of like 6,000 interviewees. They hired 7 people.
Okay.
My brother and I were 2 of them.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah.
So what? Okay. So you have to take you say you have to take tests.
Yeah.
And were these tests that one can study for?
They had some aptitude tests.
Okay.
But clearly he just went and didn't go.
Cold
I
turkey.
Yeah.
You just went in.
I was kind of angry to go. To be honest, I really had no desire to be there.
Okay. So you get the job.
Yeah.
And you're like, I guess I have to take this,
Right.
Because it was better than where you were with Keystone. Okay.
Because the railroad carries that connotation of, I mean, this is a job that you can retire from.
Sure.
With.
Right.
So immediately after the decided to hire the 2 of us, we had to leave, go to Georgia for a month.
Oh wow.
For training.
And at this point, were you married or no?
No, but I was
okay.
dating my wife.
Okay.
So
you're like
right when we
see
started.
ya?
Yeah, basically we started dating and I peaced out. Okay. For a month, came back and
I just try to imagine dating my wife like hey, I really want to invest in this relationship, but I will need to be.
I'll be out of commission for 1 month.
The railroad calls.
The railroad calls. That's right. When
Yeah.
it calls, you answer.
Yes. Okay. So you're down to Georgia.
Down to Georgia. I was there for a month.
And what do they do in that month? What are you learning?
So you're learning all of the different signal readings for all of the different railroads that have been absorbed over the years.
Okay.
Because when a railroad company purchases another railroad company, 9 times out of 10 they keep the signal.
Interesting.
That's there. They don't get rid of any.
Okay.
So you just
you just continue
accumulate,
to you accumulate knowledge of three colored lights in different patterns, meaning
different things.
many different things.
Okay.
So
you have initially the role of explain to us, because I think when people think of conductor, like they think old timey train conductor, and they're not sure like what does
all aboard.
Yeah. What are the roles and responsibilities?
Yeah. So the easiest way to explain a conductor and an engineer is the engineer physically moves the train. He controls forward and backward movement, different monitors air pressure and brakes and things like that. The conductor is the one who steers the train. The conductor is in charge of maintaining safety for wherever the locomotive engineer can't see.
Okay.
So if you have to go down another track, he'll pull all the way through. You'll throw the switches, bring him back, stop him.
Gotcha.
Break cars apart, build trains.
Does this feel like a really scary job initially? Because we're dealing with massive machines, massive weight, and the implication I feel like for a misstep is pretty significant.
So that was one element of the training when we went down was we called like nightmare story time.
Yes.
Where everyone had a story about somebody. Theirs was you'll see someone, most likely you'll hit someone in the first 5 years.
Okay.
And then the other one was if you get a limb severed, don't reach in to grab it.
Oh. Okay.
Because apparently that's happened a lot of times. Arm's gone. Reach in to grab it.
Other arms.
Second arm's gone.
Man.
It's pretty morbid.
Yeah. Well, no.
Stuff.
I think this is the part
This is
where
this is stuff you don't normally. I mean,
yeah,
hear
don't
of.
really
Right.
hear. And because I think what we know, I mean, obviously, for those of us, especially live in this county, I was here late tonight because I was train stopped on the tracks. I had to reroute around.
And interestingly enough, like I posted that on Facebook. I said, "Hey guys, we're running a little bit late."
Yeah,
because as you know, in Goshen, trains happen.
So many trains.
Insider info.
Yes,
there is a little plate at every railroad crossing that has a phone number on it.
Mm-hmm.
If the train is sat there for too long, feel free to call said phone number.
I love it.
Someone will probably get mad, but someone will definitely get yelled at.
Okay, well then that makes me feel better already. That someone's
gonna get yelled at.
gonna hear about it. So okay, because I think most of our experience with that profession specifically is we see the train go by, we see the guys, we see the engineers. They wave at you usually, because they tend to be friendly people mostly.
Yeah.
But that's like the sum total of I think the normal person's experience. But there's so much that goes on. I mean, we have a couple of reasonably large train yards within proximity here, one in our county, and there's a ton of things that are going on there, switching trains, connecting, reconnecting, all of that. But in the process, it is a dangerous, no matter what, even in our modern reality, the trains have to be they have to be coupled, decoupled, all of that regularly. What are the dangers with that? I mean, you've mentioned a severed limb, but what are the I just have to mention, what are the dangers with that job?
I would say, so I was actually hit by a train.
Oh,
and
okay.
broke a few of my ribs.
Okay.
Threw me down in between the wheels. But in a circumstance like that, I think the most dangerous thing is not knowing where you're at or what you're doing as a personnel.
Yeah.
So in my particular circumstance, there was a crew that had come into our yard. We were working on the opposite end of. We were building some trains. They came in to pick up their train. They weren't from our yard. They lined themselves into the wrong track and ran into the end of our train.
Oh, okay.
Sending the shockwave down.
Yeah, all the way down.
Yeah. But I was in between two of the cars putting a handbrake on, and you had to use these things, they're called brake sticks, but basically your arms are above your head, and I had a foot plate of a car just smoked me right in my rib cage.
Man.
And kind of threw me quite a ways. I hit the tracks and just sat up, and then the wheels went right by.
Ew.
So it was a dangerous situation. It was pretty wild.
Yeah.
So I would say that second is just the amount of weight and the material that can be shipped in some of those cars is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, the ones that I know, so my dad worked in automotive manufacturing for years, steel coils, for instance.
Real dangerous.
Right? That amount of density of weight, it's hard to wrap your brain around, the density of weight that you're talking about there. And the fact that a large car can only carry 4 of them
that tells you something.
Tells you something.
Yeah.
What so because we're getting as super morbid about this job as we possibly can, because we
I can't wait till the pop quiz.
Yeah, right. What there someone mentioned to me, because I maybe have seen this once in my life, where there is a tent set up
that's
around a train car.
Yeah.
What is happening if that's the case?
So it's called the yellow tent, or at least it was the time when I worked at the railroad. If you are building trains, if for any reason you get coupled between the cars, they put a tent around you, bring you a phone, give you some time, and then they separate the train.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
At that point, obviously,
Yeah.
sustain life. So,
Right.
yeah, I've seen one of those.
That's man, it's yeah, and I would just imagine that I'm imagining that there's plenty of safety videos around
Oh, yeah.
that phenomenon,
Mm.
but it still happens.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. You can get, I mean, like we talked earlier about third shift and
Mhm.
being just so I worked off of what was called the extra board. Everything's based off seniority.
Mhm.
So if you don't have any seniority, 9 times out of 10, you're working off of what we call the extra board, which is if a position opens up, if somebody calls in, if somebody has vacation days, whatever, they have a board of people, they'll just call the next person in line.
Okay.
The rules at the time that I was a conductor were 2 hours call to be on site. So you could have just worked an 8-hour shift, gone home.
Hmm.
They call you at 6 hours for you to be there at 8.
Man.
And that's any time of day or night.
Mhm.
You could work first shift, and then the next day you work third shift, and then the following day you're on second, and then you're back to first.
That's
and then
rough.
Second,
Wow.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's in the yard. The yard had actual shifts. The road doesn't. It's when the train's ready.
Mhm.
That's when your shift starts. So when you're a road conductor or engineer, we were trained really quickly. Actually, there was even a portion of our training at school, which was when you're home, you sleep,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what time it is. So you train your body to be ready to go to work constantly. That was miserable.
Man.
Yeah.
That was, I would rather have third shift any day than that.
Sure.
Right, because you don't have any idea. You can't prepare for that. You
No.
can't get your body ready to go.
Nope.
Man.
That was rough.
So are younger guys doing that? Like,
I don't think they do it anymore.
Okay.
So I have a nephew that actually just started working at the railroad a year ago, I believe, is when his training was up. But, and he hasn't mentioned anything like it.
because it just sounds like you're just asking for
Yeah,
trouble
Absolutely.
with running people that kind of
Yeah.
That
those
is
kind
not-
of
yeah.
schedules.
You're allowed one time to decline at the
Mhm.
time where it was, I can't go out. And then they would just call the list again. And
Mm-hmm.
when they got back to you 5 minutes later, you would, okay.
Yeah.
You had no
Jeez.
choice.
I'm ready
So,
now.
yes. Thank you
Yeah.
for that.
Yes. So, all right. So you've had that job. You've had the oil rig.
Uh-huh.
Where did you go between those two?
Between those two was actually the Meyer
Okay.
third shift,
Okay.
Dick Sporting Goods first shift,
And then
And then the oil rig.
North Dakota
then
called
the
you.
Great
Yeah.
Dakota of North.
So how did you get there? How did you decide to go? Okay, I'm gonna go work on this rig.
So we had obviously at the time work was scarce. I believe the first person out there from our family there was a cousin that had gone out through a company that he worked for. He was doing truck driving.
Hmm.
He knew that. So I have 4 brothers and myself, so 5 of us total. He knew that work in Indiana was null.
Mm.
So he had contacted my oldest brother and said, "Hey, things are absolutely nuts out here. You should come check it out. If worst case scenario it doesn't work out, you go home." So my brother moved out, called my second brother within about a month and said, "Yeah, come out." He moved out. He called a couple more of us. We went out together. And it was life-changing. It
Mhm.
was the the year before I moved out there, I think combined Abby and I made like $26,000
Yep.
combined
Yep.
with a child
Yep.
and one on the way. The first year there, I cleared 6 digits.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, it's entry level, like nothing. You work nonstop.
Mhm.
Like they pay you for your life.
Yes.
But at that time, it was phenomenal.
So you head out there, and again, a little background information I had. Your lodging situation when you move out there
Yes.
is because you have to house in relatively. I mean, I don't know how remote you were, but
Mhm.
not major areas of housing available.
Yeah, at the time, so in 2011, Minot, North Dakota flooded. the town,
Oh,
the city of Minot.
okay.
So were already in a housing crisis.
Got it.
Declared a state of emergency, everything. I mean, I think so there's 3 rivers that run through Minot, and Minot's in a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was their 100-year flood or something.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Something wild went and just destroyed. I think it was like 40 or 50% of all housing in the area.
Oh my goodness.
So you had that scenario, and they were in the middle of a massive oil boom.
Mm-hmm.
So housing was nothing. When we first moved out there, we lived there was 5 adult men living in a 2-person RV, and we paid $1,200 a week
Oh my
for
goodness.
a camping spot.
Oh my goodness.
Luckily, there was never more than 3 of us in the thing at a time.
Yeah.
Just because of our work schedules. And they did a ton of lodging for us when we went out of town.
Okay.
So it was awesome for those of us who weren't residents at the time. We weren't permanent,
Mm-hmm.
because they would send us out to work in Watford City or Williston for months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When they did that, there was housing.
Mm.
We stayed in man camps, which turns out that's where all of the RVs and campers from here go. So,
I've wondered
Yes.
for years, Andy.
Right.
Because those of us that have inevitably have touched upon the RV industry in our area,
Which
at
is
some
most
point,
people who lived here.
which most people live here.
Yeah.
I have at times wondered,
Yeah.
where are all of these things going? Are we driving them off a cliff somewhere? Because we see the parking lots full of them, and it's like, how in the world?
There's not enough people to
is it-
consume all these.
Well,
but apparently there is.
Apparently
They're
that's
in
where they're going.
North Dakota. Yeah, no, they had for the longest time, they had man camps that housed thousands
Okay.
of people, and I can't remember what year it was. They finally shut them all down and whatever, but there were multiple man camps that were just their cities with 2-person RVs stacked front to back, side to side, thousands and thousands of them.
Man.
So, and that was luxury living.
Yeah, and so you're working in oil fields, and your job. What did your job include?
So I did what's called production testing. So we would go out during the frac, post frac, and then we would do a thing called tree watch. But basically, we would go out and flow the wells back. So we go out with 15,000 psi pipe
Mm-hmm.
and run it from the wellhead back to our pressurized vessels. So it's basically a semi-trailer with a massive pressure tank on it. And then through natural process, sand, water, oil, and gas separate from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would ship them to different areas, clean up the wells, tell the companies how much oil and gas they were producing, and move to the next one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, you knew nothing about this industry. I mean, did you have any
No.
knowledge of this
I
industry
didn't-
whatsoever?
Before I moved out there, I didn't realize that we produced, that the U.S. even produced, we had an oil field.
Gotcha.
We've got several, and they're large.
And so you just show up out there,
Yeah.
and you're not alone in this. This is happening. I mean, lots and lots of the company you worked for. How many people were they employing in that area, roughly?
So they were a Canadian-based company.
Okay.
So they came down. They were employing around 1,000, 1,500.
Okay.
But there were, at its peak, I think there was 40 or 50,000 additional people, not from previous consensus, that had come from other states to work specifically for work.
So, I mean, that's an enormous workforce,
Mhm.
and so you have to have like. So we've already said don't have the housing infrastructure for this. So
Yep.
they're bringing in more, but then like they've got to get groceries, they've got to
Yeah.
get supplies, things like this.
So every day was Black Friday at Walmart. Every day. They got to a point, and this is no joke, they got to a point where they stopped stocking the shelves because 24/7 people were just emptying them. So they would just bring skids in and leave them and
Oh,
like
man.
line the aisles with them. It was insane. And when you went to Walmart, you bought as much as you possibly could because you were in a checkout line for 2-3 hours,
Oh,
4
my
hours.
word.
Man.
just
It is like
waiting.
Black Friday.
Right. Exactly. So you went out there because your brothers kind of called you out there. Did you see them much, or were you just constantly
No,
out in the field or resting?
we worked for the same company, and so starting off, I was put on to the same job as one of my brothers, but I didn't see the other two for at least a month. Where we lived in the same
You lived in the same house.
place. Yeah. And we went a month. I think a month the first time. My very first trip out there. At the time when I went out there, you could work as much as you wanted to. There was no regulation on working. So in the oil field, it's 7 days a week, at least what we were doing. 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, typically 2 to 4 hours of drive time a day. On top of that 12 hours, excuse me.
Wow.
That's a long day of work.
So yeah, anywhere from 14 to 16 hours total. And you work 7 days a week. A lot of guys went on like a 4 and 2. When I first moved out, I had it out to prove that was worth me moving there and moving my family there. So my very first stint in the oil field was 92 days straight without a day off.
Oh my
man.
gosh.
We were working 12 to 14 hour days. Came home for 2 weeks, went back out and worked another 65 or 66 days without a day off.
Goodness.
So
Is that like legal?
well, turns out it is. It is.
So I feel like some sort of labor law is being like worked around or something. Yeah.
The biggest thing was proving it was financially beneficial to move having the kids out. And
Sure. So you guys found a place to live out there.
Yep. Our first townhouse was 2-bedroom townhouse, and we paid almost $4,000 a month for it,
Man.
not including utilities.
Steal of a deal.
Yeah.
And did North Dakota become home? I mean, did it become home for you?
Absolutely. No, it definitely did. We did the production testing thing for a while. Actually, let's go back a little bit. Leaving Indiana wasn't hard because as an adult, as a dad, as a dude with kids, I had, up until that point, I had no opportunity. There was no opportunity to be a good dad. Couldn't provide, no matter what I tried. Moving to North Dakota for me was a big, I was proud to be there. I was proud to be able to do the things that I could do to support my family. And then it was really just work for the really long time before we found church.
Yeah.
Then it turned into home.
Yeah.
So for the longest time for me, it was just work. Abby had to tolerate a lot of that, obviously, with me being gone. She had the 2 kids, the 2 boys with her. But
and your kids were how old at that time?
At that time, I moved out there about 6 months before they came out.
Okay.
When I moved out, I think it was a week before my second son's second birthday.
Okay.
So 3 and 1 turning 2.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I'm sure that wasn't easy on you as a dad or a husband to be gone and working so much, but at the same time, you had to provide for them, and this is an opportunity when anywhere else here in Indiana you couldn't find that opportunity.
And it's helpful to remember, like 2008 and 9, it was nearly 20% unemployment in this county. Things were I was at the time I was in college right around that time, and was working for a design firm that did exterior graphics for the RV industry. And I just remember like going in one week, production is happening, going in the next, it's like a ghost town, just like things just shut down so quick. Like I'm amazed that you can like get people out of here this quick. Like it just like so quickly. And it felt it felt a little dystopian. Like it was just like, I don't know what the Great Depression was like. I have, obviously didn't live that. I have grandparents that were young during those years, but like a real sense of if you were in a place, if life was kind of how shall I say this? Like the when it feels like options are basically being taken away, like where you're the route that you can take is less and less. And I mean, for me, it was like, well, I guess I can push my loans off a little longer while I just keep on doing school for a time.
Just keep doing school.
Just keep doing. That's why I've got a graduate degree. People think it's because I was interested in academics. It's no, I was keeping the loans away.
Yeah.
You need to understand that was the financial management plan. So you're out there, and you said it. You found a faith community that you guys connected with. So where was that? Who was that?
That was the Pursuit Church in Minot, North Dakota. If anyone's ever out that way, check them out. They're incredible. They caught our attention. Okay, before that, I didn't have a huge. I was born and raised in a church here in near Syracuse. Left the church life a little bit sour about it. So when we moved out to North Dakota, I'd found a church. Abby had gone for a period of time without me. I was still working nonstop. She finally said, like, hey, you need to come to church with us. So I started going to the church, and the very first service was hooked. Never experienced church like that in my life. They're a non-denominational church that is just good. It's good, full of love, community. And they preached about Jesus. That was it.
Yep.
That was the number one thing.
Yep.
I fell in love with the church. The reason that we remember the church is because mind you, Minot wasn't always on the up and up. They at one point they shut down strip clubs that used to be in Minot. The church bought one that came available,
as one does,
as most churches do. And their ad, they did a radio ad campaign right when they very first started. It was a new church in an old strip club. And it caught my attention so severely that I went up and told the pastor at the first service that we went to, like, I'm here because I heard that. I remembered it. Abby was going here. That's why I'm here. I absolutely fell in love with the church instantly. The Holy Spirit was working through Tom Foises, the head pastor there. Just hearing the words that very first Sunday was just incredible. And it was the first time I'd ever felt leaving church like, man, I want to hear, like, I just want more.
Yeah. I think for some of us that have been that have been in church for a while, have worked in churches, have volunteered in churches, I think it's just good to hear that people can have that experience, because I think if we're all honest, it's easy to get jaded, like, oh, people don't have those kind of experiences anymore, or that like it can, when it starts to be, depending on what your experience is, like oh, the kind of the machine just kind of turns and it churns, and some people come and some people leave, and it's is there anything powerful that's happening here anymore? It's easy to ask that kind of question, and yet for you, there it was, like, something, it was kind of like a shock to the system, like kind of an eye-opening thing. So okay, so now you're going to church. Is the job changing at all? Are you making are you what are you doing now?
Yeah. So I worked my way up at the company that I was at, from field assistant to night operator, day supervisor. So I moved out in 2012, and this is right around 2014. I had been working basically nonstop for those 2 years, and my wife and I had a conversation. She's like, I really need you to be around more. As one might, after
Yeah.
2 years of
Reasonable.
solitude.
Reasonable,
right.
Abby. Very reasonable.
So a position had come available for the company that I was working for to do sales. So it was home-based. I worked out of an office close to us. That was my first real sales job. Fell in love with it.
And I just be clear, you're selling what?
Services for the oil company or
Okay.
for the oil field.
Mhm.
So we did production testing. So I would go to like the main oil companies themselves who the producers, and we would say, hey, we offer this service. Here's our pricing. Use us.
Gotcha.
So 2015, I was working sales, and then I was doing some side work in the field as a supervisor. They were just low on employees or whatever. And the company men that I was working with, the oil company has a company man on each of these locations that makes all the decisions and signs all the bills. So we kept running into this issue where we needed a specific type of light plant generator to power our office trailer. He'd have to run around and find one. So finally I just asked, I said, hey, if I get a light plant, will you rent it off of me? I'll start a company and do it on the side, little side hustle.
Yeah.
He said, yep, sure. If I don't have to screw with trying to
Right.
run down a piece of equipment for you every single job, that'd be great. Okay. So I started a rental company, as one does,
Mhm.
for some side change, and didn't have any money to start it. I mean, we made great money, but you spend also the
Yeah,
cost of living is
right.
like $3,000 for
And it's a lot. I mean, you have to come up with capital
Mhm.
is a significant
Yeah.
challenge.
So at the time, my brother and I were messing around with hunting rifles. We were trying to build long range rifles. It was something we saw on YouTube where someone had made a
As one does.
long range rifle. For,
Andy, I feel like the story he's telling right now is that something like Josiah and Micah would totally do. Of course,
yeah.
they're considerably younger than these guys, but you know what? It's a childhood
They'll do
dream.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Okay.
So it was a challenge of 1,000-yard rifle for under $1,000.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, I bought mine at a pawn shop. It was a 300 win bag for this little competition. Anyway, long story short, I traded that gun for my first piece of equipment. That's how I started the business. A gentleman that I knew had light plants that he was trying to get rid of. I said, I got no money, but I have a gun.
Do you feel like this is a North Dakota, like that North Dakota specifically maybe really facilitated this sort of?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's perfect.
That would never have taken place here. No.
I got a gun.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
right. Not, yeah. So he was all about it. He's great. I love
Yep.
it. So I traded him this rifle for this generator, rented the generator out for a period of time, bought a couple more generators, bought an office trailer, was renting all of this stuff out through a series of events. At that point, I was still working full time for the production testing company. Had switched to a different one due to some unforeseen circumstances, and I was working at that company and doing the side rentals. So I'm working 14 hours in the day. I would drive my 2 hours home, drop off my hands, say hi to Ab, drive back to the city that I was just at 2 hours, service all the light plants or move them or whatever, finish that up at night, drive back, sleep for about 2 or 3 hours, go pick up my hands, drive back out. So by the way, my first truck had 500,000 miles on it.
Sure.
So
Sure. Gosh.
did that for a few months.
I mean, Mark, I just have to say, like, I mean, I have a headache already just listening to this because it's incredible. There's the family challenge, but it's incredibly taxing. By the way, Mark is for those who are not watching, Mark is slamming an energy. One of my favorite energy drinks, by the way, is slamming an energy drink as we speak.
Yeah.
Just the tax on your body,
Mm-hmm.
like.
I mean, I know I'm older now. I could never do that, but man, I don't know that I
Earlier
could do
we
it then.
said I was 39, and for those of you who can't see, I look like I'm 57. So
Now
it's taken its toll.
Well, maybe Abby's into older men. I just like, what is pushing you forward in all of this? Because I think the average person looks at that like, oh, I'm gonna work in such a way where I'm getting just a few hours of sleep, a ton of dash time driving. Because that's the other thing, like out west. And you and I,
right.
you and I in the last year, I mean, when we were out in the Tetons and you're taking a trip through those states in South, for South Dakota and whatnot, like there's just expanses. Like it's hard for, I think, even thus in like rural Midwest or whatever, it is a special kind of massive expanse between places with nothing going on, and just the tedium of that, like the fact that you didn't like fall asleep behind the did you ever fall asleep behind the wheel? I have to feel like that was like a great opportunity.
Not officially. I've definitely hallucinated behind the wheel, and there were a couple of times when I couldn't continue. I was at least conscious enough to know that I couldn't keep driving.
Yeah.
I was less than 20 minutes from my house and had to stop.
Okay. Yeah.
And sleep in my truck on the side of the road. I'm like, I can't keep going.
Yeah. Because that's the other thing. Like I've been in that situation, I think maybe one time in my life, where it's not like you're tired, like normal kind of tired. Your brain is doing something. Like your brain is going into it. Like it's a different mode, right? Where you're, it's like it's not a normal reality.
I was once so tired I had West Nile virus and didn't know it.
Oh god.
Yeah. I had stayed up for almost 5 days straight because we'd gotten so busy and I didn't have enough employees. And I had finally gotten to go home for a night, was hanging out outside with a friend of Abby and ours, and get bit by a mosquito. Had contracted West Nile virus.
I also want to go over the irony of this. Out of all the things that could have happened to him in this process, it's a mosquito that brought him.
That brought me to my knees.
Brought him to his knees. Okay.
Yeah.
What is pushing you so hard to do these things that I think a sane person would say no to?
Opportunity.
Okay.
Being in Indiana, I felt like a bad dad.
Okay.
I felt like I couldn't provide for my kids.
Yeah.
That opened up a world of I can provide for my kids better than I ever could have imagined. I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
So I just did. I just kept pushing.
And then, but then something changed.
Yeah.
What was it?
So I had so back to the company's growth, through a change of events, the companies that I was renting equipment to, had a falling out with their service provider for production testing. So they asked me if I would provide production testing services for them. At the time we had generators, we had office trailers. I didn't have semi-trailer sized giant pressure tanks. But I did make a friend who did, and he owned a rental company. Phenomenal couple of guys from Canada. And through that relationship, he, again, didn't have money to go buy pressure vessels, didn't have money to pay him the hundreds of thousands of dollars for rent on these things. But through that relationship and through opportunity, he actually gave me, for 6 months, nonstop use of whatever equipment I needed. So the company blew up overnight. We went from a side hustle for some scratch to a multi-million-dollar company where I had tons and I had a lot of employees.
Wow.
And we got our feet wet with that. Again, I had done sales in this, so I had made some pretty substantial contacts, but landed another contract and blew up again. So it went from basically nothing to huge, from huge to way bigger than I should have ever been in charge of. When that happened, I don't think I was ready for it. And I had a crazy mental breakdown. I was pursuing the feeling of being proud of myself as a father to just trying to maintain. I've been nonstop running for 4 years at that point. I had almost 70 employees. The company was just going crazy. And when it was at its peak, I was at my lowest. So then I had my surrender moment. So when I woke up in the middle of the night, it was like 2:30 a.m. bawling. Just woke up from deep sleep crying. Got in my truck, took off, surrendered everything, and instantly had a moment of peace. It was the first time. I mean, it was peace without understanding. Genuinely, just unexplainable peace. That changed the trajectory of the company and myself with my family. I got a lot more involved in church. Then COVID came around. I don't know if am I allowed to say that word?
Yeah.
Okay.
What a time.
Yes. So from my deduction, I can't say this is exactly everything that happened, but in the oil field, oil companies aren't necessarily allowed to control the market by supply and demand. So they can't shut in a well to bring the supply down. They're governed by federal regulation. When COVID hit, the government put that into the decision of the oil companies. So the oil companies shut everything down in a matter of 48 hours. I had 62 employees working 24-hour shifts, and within 48 hours, I had 0.
Wow.
Instant. Shut everything off. So then we have COVID and no work. And luckily, I was on the up and up emotionally, so I was able to navigate. Had an opportunity to sell the company in 2021 and started working at the church.
As one does.
Yes. Right.
As one does.
Right.
So the church that you had been attending.
Yep.
An opportunity opened up there.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you go and do at this church?
So I took over the worship director position. Worship director, not pastor. I didn't lead worship. I'm not a singer. As you can tell by my beautiful voice, I'm wonderful talker, horrible singer. No, I took over the worship side of the church, and then ended up inheriting the production side as well. So worship and production director.
Again, this sounds pretty standard. Fair. You just, hey, we see you're good at these things. How about we expand your kingdom impact?
Totally.
By this is the life that Andy lives. So I should ask at this point, like, you're experiencing. It's a massive change to go from the marketplace that you were in, and doing the things that you were doing and have the responsibilities that you had, to moving into the special world of vocational ministry, which, we talk about the behind the scenes, seldom seen things of being a railroad conductor, being in the oil business, and people are like, oh, yeah, there's a lot,
Right, a lot in common
There's a lot
there.
in common there.
Yeah.
There's some, okay, those are interesting fields to be in, all of that, and then ministry is a different kind of it's a different kind of different,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it is.
So did you go in like bright-eyed and hopeful and just thinking like this was going to be like, I mean, obviously it was part of a significant life change that you were making. What kind of whiplash did you experience through all of that?
So one thing I'd learned with the business and all of the ups and downs of owning the business, the best I felt was when I didn't make the decision. When I gave it up to God and said, whatever you want me to do, I'm down. Kind of like the podcast.
Yeah.
Wherever you push me,
Perfect.
I'm in.
Yeah.
This was one of those opportunities.
Yeah.
And Ab and I had talked about it for a period of time. I didn't make the decision lightly, or take the decision lightly. We had a lot of prayer, a lot of conversation together. She had been at that point. She'd been working at the church for several years.
Oh wow. Okay.
When that position opened up, and I was unsure, and then finally got an answer. It was, you've trusted me. You felt that that's all you need to do. So I did. I moved into it. The duties that came in those positions were stuff that I had found interesting and just took the time to learn on my own.
Yep.
And so moving into the position wasn't a difficult thing. Realizing what vocational ministry is was obviously a whole new world.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't, I don't know. I didn't feel the insane whiplash of lifestyle change or
Great.
I think I was just like we talked earlier about not wanting to fall into monotony. It's just I was ready for something, and this, God said, "Yeah, I got you. This is it."
I'm going to go on a limb and say that your salary changed.
Yes,
Probably
yes,
a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. It
Was that okay?
Yeah. I'll say yeah. It was calculated into the decision. It was a substantial decrease, obviously.
Because, by the way, he had director after his name, which is code talk in church circles for you get to make less. I'm half joking, but also from my experience, mostly accurate.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm sure that the stress level and the time and the amount of time that you had to spend with your family, probably, I don't want to say made up for that, but it helped.
It definitely helped. Yeah, absolutely. I went into, I won't lie, I did go into vocational ministry with the same mindset that I had in the oil field, which was just drive.
Yeah, sure.
Just run until you can't.
Yep.
So like I was redoing the stage for Easter, and we had a massive blizzard come through. Well, I have a very sizable pickup truck, and I said, okay, I can make it.
No problem.
So it was things like that I did push the limits. I have pictures of that. We had snow that came from the roof straight out. I think it was about 6.5 feet of snow.
Man.
So Mark's daughter, Paige, and Molly are close to age, and they've been hanging out the last few days some. And Paige was telling us a story about how, and we can see if Mark says this is accurate, where he tells Paige, honey, stay away from the barn because if the snow comes off the roof, it'll kill you. Yeah. And I was like, oh,
that's legit.
That seems possible, I guess. But the special kind of snow.
It was about 2 feet over my head.
Wow. So. Yeah. Jeez Louise.
Our neighbor so my truck got stuck at the beginning of our road, my neighbor got out his bobcat with tracks
Mm-hmm.
and it got stuck on the road. So I got myself home, but I mean, we were there for several days and it didn't stop.
Amazing.
Just kept going.
Man.
Amazing. So, you're working at, so how long did you work at the church for?
I worked at the church for 3 years,
Okay.
right around 3 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so in that time, you've kind of, again, so you've been there long enough, you've kind of recalibrated to the new rhythm of ministry life, spending time with the family. And then another change as does occur.
In the Graff household.
In the Graff household. So what comes next?
So we had started foster care. We started, God had blessed us to a point where we attended what's it called? The summit Craig Rochelle puts on.
Leadership?
Global leadership.
Yes,
Yep.
Global Leadership Summit. And they had a gentleman that was on there that had talked about foster care, and it really struck really close to home for Abby and I. So we started fostering. We had, I think, about 13 or 14 kids that had come through our house before our girls now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we started fostering towards the end. I don't know how we're supposed to, I don't know if we should get into the ending of this yet. So fostering, the end of our fostering story
Mm-hmm.
is what led us to move back to Indiana.
Gotcha. Okay. So I think the biggest thing, like, so you have this family already, this biological family,
Mm-hmm.
and you make a decision to enter into foster care, which I think for those that we have plenty of friends that have been through the foster care process,
Plenty that have been on the show.
plenty that
even.
have been on the show. We do time and time again hear reoccurring theme, and the theme is that this is a very broken system that is overrun with any number of problems, and that there are a bunch of really wounded kids in the process. And I think if you really start looking at the problem in the grand scope, it just can seem like insurmountable. Like how in the world are we ever going to actually make a dent in this problem, right? At the same time, my guess is with you're like, well, we can do something.
Mm-hmm.
We can start somewhere. So you made that decision.
We made that decision. We had multiple kids that had come through the house, and then Piper is our oldest. She came into the house. Going into foster care, we'd established, we had some very close friends who were in foster care. We had established, and they told us right off the bat, establish rules, and as much as it breaks your heart, don't break those rules. So age appropriate kids that would come into the system, we wouldn't go over a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't go. We had a young daughter in the house. We didn't take any teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
No violent, and so stay within our boundaries. So,
Yep.
Throughout the process, we found out really quickly with the foster care system that you live, as much good as you're trying to do, you live in that time at an arm's length.
Mm-hmm.
Because you find out very quickly that you don't have a say.
Okay.
You don't have a say. You're not their parent.
Mm-hmm.
They're not your child.
Mm.
Reunification is the goal, no matter what horrible things that you've been a witness to.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal. So with all of the kids that had come through the house, we loved them, we cared for them, We showed them what a family could be as best we could. We showed them who Jesus was. We showed them as much love as we possibly could. We always knew they weren't ours.
Mm-hmm.
Then Piper came into the picture, and she very quickly, without any of us even understanding or knowing or realizing at the time, changed. We didn't interact with her that way.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost immediate that when she came into our house and into our lives, it was just different. She just became part of our family.
Mm-hmm.
Which was tough because we'd done a really good job at not getting hurt, and then Piper showed up. So she was just a part of the family, and to go through the process of foster care and reunification with someone who you now view as part of your family was It was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely horrible. You know, the atrocities that this little girl at 4 months old had gone through that human beings don't, you and I, the three of us will never, ever experience.
Yeah.
And she did at 4 months. Anyway, she came into our lives, and dealing with the process over the following 3 years of not knowing if she was sticking it out,
Mm-hmm.
if they were gonna finally make the right decision and let us adopt her,
Mm-hmm.
or if they were gonna put her back in that horrifying situation that she was in. In the meantime, she had a sister. We got a call that this person was gonna have another child, and they asked us before the baby was born, would you guys be interested? They're sisters. We want to keep them together, yada, yada. So I said, to be perfectly honest, I said no.
Mm-hmm.
With what we were dealing with Piper, and not knowing if we were going to be allowed to adopt, consistently having to get gut checked.
Yeah.
As the people with her best interest in mind, I said no. And Ab just, through an insane amount of prayer and petition with God, just said, I really feel that we do need to take her.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And we picked her up from the hospital at 3 days old, and continued this horrifying back and forth of, well, we haven't gotten any drug tests done because she has been unavailable, and just some really insane things happened where it was just like Abby and I were so defeated that it was just, you can't imagine, like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, this is still even a question?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, well, anyway. So we have these two girls, both still working at the church, through circumstances, both of the girls had their parental rights terminated.
Mm-hmm.
Went into court. The judge happily signed the adoption paperwork. We adopted these two girls.
Mm-hmm.
So without the business, now that we have these two girls adopted in our lives, at this point, our families had moved away from North Dakota, and we were kind of just in this place of, we'd always had an anchor to be there. It was home. That was where our roots were as a family. But it finally got to this place where we were coming home for funerals.
Yeah.
And we had the discussion of, like, we don't feel anchored here anymore. Let's move home. So we moved back to Indiana with our two new little girls, Piper and Pippa. So it's Porter, Preston, Paige, Piper, and Pippa, by the way. And neither Abby or I have any peas in her. So
Way to go.
yeah. So we moved back, and I discovered View Rail, which shameless plug. View Rail is absolutely incredible. Owner's incredible. His family's incredible. Phenomenal place to work. Love it. Christ centered.
Good.
Absolutely phenomenal place.
We didn't pay Mark to say that.
But Len, if you're listening,
That's right.
Full disclosure.
Pull that up, Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie. Pull up the website. We don't have a Jamie. Someday we'll get a Jamie.
we need a Jamie.
We need a Jamie. We should, and honestly, Andy and I have said this before. We should at least get at least 2 of our kiddos in here behind the monitor screens, so they look like they look like they're pulling things up.
Yeah, they can be our producers over there.
So now that you guys are here, and Mark and Abby are thankfully they're distant neighbors of ours. They live sort of catty corner, as we figured out.
1,547 feet.
1,547 feet.
That's pretty.
Not a creepy number at all for Mark to know.
Yeah. As the crow flies.
Yes, as the crow flies, because we were trying to figure out for our 2 girls how they're gonna who they need to trespass, what yard they need to trespass in to get to each other's house. Now that you guys are here, I just wonder, like, really, when you look back, and I'm guessing that you see the hand of God and provision throughout the way. And you have found yourself in this place now with this family that you have, and these just really wonderful, from the ones that I've met so far, really, really wonderful kiddos, really cool kiddos. What are you excited about now? Like what really keeps you hopeful?
Honestly, the thing that keeps me the most hopeful is in making that transition from North Dakota, where we were completely established, back to Indiana. The biggest fear as a dad was that it was going to emotionally cripple one or all of my kids.
Yeah.
Because that's a decision that we made as a family, but Abby and I understood what that move would be. My kids didn't at the time. So I think that seeing them blossom here and it be a better situation, honestly, than we had before, as much as we loved North Dakota, just seeing them blossom and grow and expand, and their faith life hasn't been touched. They're still active and happy and love God, and they're followers of Jesus. And not have the move or leaving the church that we loved so much affect that. That's what I'm excited about.
That's awesome.
I'm excited for that to continue to grow.
Well, and I hope that you. First of all, Mark, you're going to have about 50 new friends after this episode. As we're making connections with people. Do you and Abby feel like you guys have? Do you feel like you have a team here, like a people around you?
I feel like we're forming our team.
Yeah.
I feel like we're progressing along as well. I mean, it's hard to replace 13 years of connection, but it's happening really well here.
Good.
I think we're both. Abby just went through the way at the Maple City.
Yeah.
And met a group of really awesome people. She's got a lot of people at work that she's really close with, and same for me. And through our serving at church, which we discovered in North Dakota too, through serving at church, here's my other plug. Serve at church, because you will form an insanely tight group of people. So we're working on that. We're building that. Yeah.
Good. Well,
Yeah.
we hope we can be part of that. We can hope we be part of that.
Yeah.
You're going to be part of that whether you want to. Not now.
Good.
Well, and we
Yeah.
want to thank you for coming on today. Like,
Yeah.
it's been incredible. Like I said, when Joel came to me and said, "Hey, this is this story," and
Yeah.
I got to hear it. So,
Yeah.
but before we let you go, you have to go through one thing.
And now it's time for the Dudes and Dads pop quiz.
That's correct.
All right, so the pop quiz, if you've never joined us before, is just a time when I like the word pepper. We're going to
Yeah.
pepper
Pepper Mark.
Mark with questions that
Yeah.
he can't prepare for.
Yep.
Have nothing to do with, I would say nothing to do with the interview, but he's been through so much that it might actually cover
It
something.
could come back around. So I think I know the question I'm going to ask.
Go
first.
for it. You ask.
Okay, here we go. Mark, of all available items, what is your favorite gadget right now?
Favorite gadget? This watch.
Okay.
I bought this I'm buying this. I haven't bought it. Sorry, Jake. I'm buying this
Jake,
watch.
I want you to know
It
that
is
Mark has a watch on that belongs
Garmin
to.
aviation watch
Garmin-
for my powered parachute.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Okay,
So-
so this gives you all the necessary, like an altimeter
Oh, yeah.
and.
There's our right there.
Okay, so what is it? Yep, he's
Oh,
okay.
nice.
Okay, I can see the horizon.
We're 880 feet above sea level.
Okay, because we're on the second floor right
Yep,
now
yep.
in Indiana. And second floor in Indiana, where we are.
800,
That's
yeah.
where we know we 850
Sweet.
feet. Okay, favorite gadget, fantastic.
All right. Oh, man. So you said you bought a powered paramotor
Yeah,
or parachute,
shoot,
whatever.
yes.
Have you ever used one before?
No. Nope. This
All
is
right.
my first go.
All right.
And I will be getting
He's saying this for the benefit of his wife. I just know that let's just call this what it is. There's been, if you can't read between the lines, some discussion around the wisdom
training.
of going into the powered parachute. It's a special group of people
Mhm.
apparently that strap an
Elite.
elite group of
Yes.
people.
Yes.
An elite group of people that strap a motor and a prop to their
Mhm.
back,
Mm.
put a parachute above them,
Yep.
and say,
See
"You know
you
what?
later."
Yeah, see you later."
And again, we talked about pre-show, but to be honest, like it's something I would love to do.
Yeah,
too,
it sounds super
That's
wild
perfect.
and fun.
I have two of them.
All right. Oh, don't tell me that.
I have two
Ding,
of
ding,
them.
ding.
All right. I
First
might be
ever
visiting
the Dudes and Dads DIY air show coming to you.
If we do that, I'm strapping a GoPro to my head and
Yes.
filming it all.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
All right.
Julie, if
Joel-
you're listening, I'm sorry. My next question, we've been doing this one. I think this is a good go-to. Mark, a restaurant reaches out to you and says, "We were naming a sandwich after you. What's on the sandwich, Mark?
Ooh, what's on it?
What's on it?
Yeah.
What is?
if I order
yeah.
the Mark at the local
Yeah,
store?
I want the Mark.
What do I get?
What
Yeah.
what are we getting?
A breakfast skillet.
Oh, that's the first.
Yeah.
That's the first one. Okay,
The whole breakfast skillet
the whole deal. The whole deal. Okay.
with sausage gravy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Awesome.
okay.
Eggs
I-
over easy.
Okay.
Cheese.
I'm gonna
Hash
stick.
browns.
I'm gonna stick with that same theme of restaurants.
Yes.
What is your go-to restaurant? What's your favorite restaurant? Whether it's a chain or something local or something out where you used to live. What's their favorite place to eat?
Oof. So I'm a very much I eat to live. I don't live to eat.
Okay.
So that's a hard one. I'll eat
Gotcha.
anything.
Okay.
You're lucky I haven't eaten your phones
Okay.
since we've been sitting here.
Okay. Okay.
I will say that since we've been back, used to be Ponderosa.
Oh, the
Oh.
El Rancho Viejo.
Yes.
El Rancho
Yes.
Viejo.
I love
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Rancho Viejo.
We do call it we call it Ponderosa Mexican because
Yes.
everyone remembers that it was a Ponderosa.
But,
But
can't remember the name of
El
the
Rancho Viejo. Okay, fantastic. My final question will be among your family members in a zombie apocalypse,
Mhm.
who lasts the longest, Mark?
Who lasts the long besides me?
Okay, so
That's an appropriate answer. You can answer
so
that.
so right now we're going to assume that all things being equal that you last the longest.
Okay.
Do you think that's likely the case? But so besides you, then who
Mhm.
lasts the longest?
So the non-judgmental answer or question, my wife does because she's the first one I protect.
Okay,
All right.
that's
No,
adorable.
no judgment
That's
there.
adorable. Do you think apart from your presence in any of it, if they're all like, if you're like, I don't know,
Flying solo.
yeah, if you're out of town
Mhm.
and the zombie apocalypse hits, Preston's going the distance.
Yep.
This is a multifaceted
Okay, I got it.
answer. Yeah.
Is this due to his wit, his speed, his tenacity? What's the key?
It's kind of his lack of care.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think that would allow him a level head in this situation.
He's just gonna, he's not gonna get into the weeds of, oh my gosh, it's a zombie apocalypse. What will we do?
Yeah.
He's just gonna remain cool, calm, and collected.
That's it.
And take the best course of action.
That's it. I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
Because that
Preston, congratulations. You've survived or will survive the zombie apocalypse.
Only though if your dad's out of the
your
way.
dad has to be, unfortunately, your dad has to be out of the picture.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Mark,
Yeah.
congratulations. You have successfully passed the Dudes and Dads Pop Quiz. Flying colors. If there was a trophy to give you, we would, but there's not. So, hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. We appreciate, y'all hanging out with us. As always, you can head over to dudesanddads.com for previous shows, the show notes, all the good stuff about Mark. Mark is probably intentionally very low key on the social media. So, but we'll tell you more about him. But in the show notes, you'll be able to see these episodes and others.
Also, head over to dudesanddads.com/support. This show runs not only on our corporate sponsors, but also your personal support, and we love that.
Yeah,
So,
by your
thank you.
sheer joy and finances, we continue on. So thank you so much. Dudes and Dads Podcast at gmail.com is a great way to send us an email with future show recommendations, harsh criticisms, or perhaps that casserole recipe that I've been asking for.
All right.
Whatever the case might be.
With that, man.
Yeah.
Grace.
Wow. Yes, we wish you grace.
And good casserole.